What's going on, Internet? nerdlocker.com here with this week's comic book reviews. I'm starting off with Justice League number 24. We get half of the issue is Ultraman's origin, which is basically Superman's origin, but all dark and evil, and he's like this evil, powerful baby that eats kryptonite, and it's crazy. But the other half, we come into the modern day, what's going on in Forever Evil, and we get to see the Daily Planet. And this is really interesting. We see him with Jimmy Olsen. We don't really know everything about their world, but obviously the relationships are much different. And he is just attacking Jimmy. He's wondering why this Jimmy is thoughtful and he cares about other humans, and he doesn't get it, and he's almost torturing him. And Jimmy sets off his little Superman watch. He's like, I killed Superman. He's not here. It's calling nobody. We'll call somebody really big. And they said that the fight is continued in the next issue of Forever Evil, which kind of bummed me out because I want to see it all go through here. But man, if there was anyone I wanted to see fight Ultraman, this is exactly who I wanted to see. This was a great issue. I'm loving Forever Evil. I really am. The new 52 first big event is kicking ass. I can't wait to see what else they have. I'm giving this 5 out of 5 Nerd Skulls.
Hey there guys, Kevin here with my reviews this week. I got to read Conan and the People of the Black Circle, #1, which was actually a really awesome book written by Fred Van Lente and drawn by Ariel Olivetti, who is an awesome artist who does a really cool, like, stylistic anime. I don't even know how to describe it, but it's really awesome. And he did Cable a while ago. He's done a lot of big Marvel books, a lot of big books, and he's doing Conan, and it looks amazing. It was probably one of the best parts of the book because I love his layouts. I love the way he makes his people look. I love his action and his just everything, his expressions. He has a really good way of like carrying emotion across, which a lot of people do, and I appreciate stuff like that. So this guy totally has it. But the story is pretty awesome. Conan's kind of like in the middle of something, and he doesn't really know what's going on, and you don't even, it's not really centered around him, which is really cool. Like the introduction to the story isn't centered around him. He just kind of gets thrown into something accidentally, and it's really sweet. So I'm definitely going to recommend this book because I can see it having a really awesome story and kind of playing out really well. I'm going to give it 4 out of 5 Nerd Skulls, and you guys need to check this out.
Hey guys, I got a chance to check out Indestructible Hulk number 14 this week, and I haven't read Hulk in a long time. So I read the first few paragraphs at the beginning of the book, which Marvel is known for, to catch you up, and honestly, I really didn't need it. This is just a really great story of Hulk being, flying through time, kicking ass every chance he gets, in a really, really great way. He's going up against the Chronarchists. I really don't like that name, and I really didn't like that they used it so many times in this book. But aside from that, it was really, really great. And the ending really makes me want to read another one. This one takes place at the beginning when Bruce Banner originally becomes infected with gamma radiation. Just really excellent to see that in a modern perspective and everything, and the time frame was really great. The ending with a little sneak peek at the next issue of Hulk Squared, I'm really looking forward to, so I'm going to give this book 4 out of 5 Nerd Skulls. You should check it out.
Hey fellow nerds, Jasper here, and I just got done reading Marvel Now What? Pretty much all the artists and writers of the current Marvel Now series is spoofing each other, and for artists and writers from Scotty Young to Gary Dugan, Brian Posehn, Sarah Schaefer are all just ribbing each other, making fun of their artwork. Scotty Young pretty much did a whole scenario of the Marvel babies just complaining that he's, making so much money off, their royalties and, degrading them to just little infants when, they want to be full-grown, kick-ass adults. Another memorable short story out of the whole batch was the secret origin of Dr. Octopus, with him really being a puppeteer and ventriloquist. So overall, the issue itself is great. There's so many different stories that just make you want to laugh. I'm giving this a 3 out of 5 Nerd Skulls.
All right, I read Wolverine and the X-Men, number 37. Yep, that's what I did. All right, I got to read Wolverine and the X-Men, number 37. This is chapter 9, A Battle of the Atom. There's only one chapter left, so this issue is kind of tying up some of the things that are happening, just letting you know, like kind of catching everyone up, and it leads to this giant battle between what we now know is the Brotherhood in the future, and the X-Men in the future, and the X-Men from the past, and the current X-Men, and the Uncanny X-Men. This has like every major important mutant right now just battling it out, and it is crazy. It ends with something gigantic, S.H.I.E.L.D. related, and I think it really sets up for this final chapter of this giant X-Men story that I'm actually very, very pleased with. I kind of thought halfway along I'd give it up, but this has been solid all the way through, and I can't wait for the final issue next week. I'm giving this 4 out of 5 Nerd Skulls.
All right, guys, so I also got to read Star Wars Legacy number 8, the 8, or the Ocho, whatever. Anyways, really good book. I'm really enjoying it, and it's a little, I mean, it's exciting, and I really like the characters, and I like what they're doing with them, but I feel like it's getting a little slower, and maybe I'm just kind of like not as stoked on it, but I do like the story. I want to see it go like really cool places and be really awesome, and it was, in this issue, you kind of realize that, oh man, these Sith are really doing some messed up stuff. It's totally messed up. And a certain planet is totally poisoned, and it's actually kind of cool. I didn't know this happened at any point in the story, and the fact that it's in the future kind of makes sense. It's like, oh, okay, so a lot could happen. But I like what they did with it, because it's 2 very important races to the Star Wars universe, and they're pretty much screwed, and they're just screwed in general, and these 2 people are pretty much going to save them. It seems like, hope so. Some dude shows up, though, that looks like the most badass Sith I've ever seen. Like, Darth Maul doesn't even look that cool compared to this guy, even though he kind of looks like Darth Maul. But either way, it's awesome. I'm stoked for it. I will say it did feel a little slower and a little like, but you do find out a lot more in this issue. So that was cool, but the lack of enthusiasm that I found in it was So I'm just going to give it 3 out of 5 Nerd Skulls.
Hey guys, Pretty Deadly #1 comes out this week, which is a new Kelly Sue DeConnick book out of Image Comics. I've been really looking forward to this one, which is because, of course, it's set in Western times. I'm going to be all over that. It's kind of confusing in the first few pages, a lot like East of West is. You kind of have to get to that last ending spoof that happens that really gets you interested in the book. I don't really know if it's about the Daughter of Death or not. It kind of seems like it's like a myth in Western times, which would be exciting too. I'm not going to knock it for that. But I would welcome with open arms the actual Daughter of Death. We'll see what happens. The first issue was definitely grabbing, and I want to see where it goes. And the ending was kick-ass, so I'm going to give this one 5 out of 5 Nerd Skulls. Check it out.
All right, I got to read Catwoman #24. If you didn't read the Villains Month, the Villains Month Joker's Daughter tie-in, you might want to go pick that up just to get a little backstory on her, because if not, you're going to open this issue and be like, whoa, here's this crazy girl wearing the Joker's face, which is nuts. I'm a big Catwoman fan, but I'm just not... I haven't been digging the Catwoman series as much. It kind of seems all over the place, and honestly, I mean, I know she's in the Justice League of America now, but other than that, it doesn't seem like there's a lot of important things going on with Catwoman. I understand there's a big threat to Gotham in this issue, but I feel like it's just something that she's going to fix, and then it'll be cool, and then we'll move on to the next thing, and I don't know. I loved, like, Brubaker's run on Catwoman, and I feel like the stories need to be more like that, like more just to the core of the character and what we know of her. Just not the biggest fan of this run right now. I'm going to give it 3 out of 5 Nerd Skulls.
All right, guys, so I got to read Aquaman #24 this week, and I'm really stoked on this issue. I've kind of dropped off on Aquaman. I watch nerdlocker reviews of Aquaman especially, so that way I know what's going on. Our wonderful Jim does them, and he's pretty good at it, so that's cool. But I haven't really been keeping like that close to the story, just because it wasn't what I wanted. You know, it's never been like it was the Breach, it was this and that, and blah 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 blah. All these random people, random characters I didn't understand. Cool, whatever. But they're finally like telling the story that I want to know, and it's a huge, awesome like fill-in part in this issue where you find out why Atlantis is the way it is, how it came to be, all like the real like awesome truth behind everything. And it turns out a lot of the things we thought we knew were completely false. And I love when that happens. So I'm really stoked to see where this goes, what they do with Arthur Curry at this point, the fact that he's been asleep for like 6 months and all this other stuff. Like I want to know where it fits into the rest of the DC universe. But so far, I'm really, really stoked. And I'm just kind of like, okay, let's see where it goes. I hope it does really, really awesome things. I'm going to give it 4 out of 5 Nerd Skulls because it's a really good book and always has been.
Hey guys, so Sex Criminals #2 comes out this week, and I really, really loved the first issue. So of course I love the second one as well. The artwork's great, and Matt Fraction is awesome on this book. I really haven't ever connected with him like I have on this book. It's just a fun read, and it kind of narrates a lot like High Fidelity does, which is one of my favorite movies of all time. So I really connected with it, and the story's great. The idea is great. It's just a great book, and where it leads in this, although they really don't touch a lot on what's actually going on in this bank heist that's going on in the book. It's just all happening in the male character's background. It's still a good book. It still really ends well, and it makes me want to read the next issue. So I'm going to give it 5 out of 5 Nerd Skulls. I would give it more if I could. Check it out.
All right, guys, so I got to read Uncanny Avengers #13 this week, and I love this book. I've said it a million times. I try to review every single one because I really love it, and I want to make sure that everyone that is involved in this book knows that. And this issue like solidified it for me because it gave me everything I want in like an awesome movie, TV show, comic book, whatever. Like you get like heartbreaking, like tragedy, like, oh my God, I've got to deal with this right now. And then you get hilarious kind of like, not antics, but like situations people are put in and characters that like one character's doing something ridiculous and the other character is just trying to like keep it all together, and they do, and they make it through, and you get like an awesome romance at the end that's like really something else, and just everything is in this book. Banshee fight, and Sentry being a douche, and Thor being a god, like an awesome god in another dimension that's like it's so confusing right now, but it's so good. And if you're paying attention, you're following it, you know what I'm talking about. I'm giving this 5 out of 5 Nerd Skulls because this constantly knocks it out of the ballpark.
All right, I got to read All-Star Western #24. We still have Jonah Hex in modern day DCU, New 52. He's acquitted of all the charges they had against him. Somehow they convinced the judge that this man is not crazy and he could possibly be a time traveler throughout space and time, which seems totally like an odd decision that a court would make, but I don't know. It's comic books. That's cool. So he's just kind of now venturing out into our world and hitting some old spots he used to, go to, finding stuff he buried, a bunch of little things like that. But this is a really neat tie-in here. We're going to start seeing him getting to meet some of the new characters, or some of the characters of the DCU that are new to him, like John Constantine, which is interesting to tie him in with that right off the bat. But honestly, I was confused from the beginning to see where this would go. But I'm on board. I'm going to give it a shot. I'll at least finish out the run while he's in our time and, see what's up. But this issue, I'm going to give 3.5 out of 5 Nerd Skulls.
All right, guys, so I get to read Samurai Jack #1 this week, brought to you by Cartoon Network and IDW, and it's, everyone in it is like really, really cool. So it's awesome because the actual book looks like the show, which isn't hard to do at all. It should be really easy for you to make a cartoon comic book, make it look like the show at least. So that was really awesome and cool. I appreciated that. Very similar style, and it's cool actiony. Like there was an actual really awesome action sequence, like fight throwdown with Samurai Jack and a couple people like they were poking fun at in like different respective comic universes, which was really funny, and you guys should read it because that was awesome. But the story's cool. It's not really like the comic book. I mean, the TV show. It's a little bit different. I'm not really too familiar with the TV show, and that's why I wanted to get into it. I tried to, and I just kind of got swept up in other stuff, Grand Theft Auto, and I didn't continue it. But it was a fun show, and it's cool, and I like it. I love Genndy Tartakovsky. Like he's a great animator. So I wanted to give it a chance, and it does deviate a little bit. It makes a kind of a different story, but it makes sense for a comic book being, it's kind of anthology, kind of like a big overarching story. He's going to collect a lot of pieces for something. It almost feels like you're watching a Samurai Jack video game being played, which is really cool, and I would totally just want to play a Samurai Jack video game like Skyrim or something. But either way, it's deviating from the point. The comic book was really cool. I want to see where this goes as well. There's a lot of new #1s this week, and this one seems like it's going to be really fun. So I'm on board. You guys should be too. I'm giving it 5 out of 5 Nerd Skulls.